Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud, and this is Champs versus Stars 2, Episode 5, Fire in the Heart, Ice in the Veins. This is the recap. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a bowl full of names, or a hat full of names. It's actually a bowl. And when I draw their names, the players and the challenge, I'm just going to discuss them and what they contribute to the episode. Makes it a little different and fun for myself because I've been podcasting for fucking ever. Here we go. Number 1, CT from the red team. Wow. Mission. He loses. In fact, you could say he's why his team loses. It's called, what is it called? Table hockey, jumbo table hockey, something like that. And he's the goalie. And he does a great job. I mean, CT is an amazing athlete, but he's fucking scored upon by Tony. Tony gets in this fucking back slap. I don't even know what it's called necessarily. It's not like I'm an anti-hockey dude, but I just haven't really, I think I've watched one full hockey game, and it was a couple of years back with friends. I was like, yeah, it's not bad. I think I was one of those guys who was like, I want the hockey to light up so I could know, so I could see where it goes. No, never say that to actual hockey fans. They get so annoyed. But this is jumbo table hockey, man. And CT's the goalie. I wish they would have gave him a fucking Jason Voorhees classic hockey mask. Oh, that would have been awesome. And a machete, too. That would have been sweet. But no, CT is scored upon by Tony with the back slap. CT is also involved in basically, I don't want to say bullying. That's such a trigger word, but I don't know. I almost want to say that because all the red champs say like, Jose, get the fuck up there. You're basically LVP or something like that. I don't know. I did not like the vibe on that team, Isn't red team supposed to be like awesome and shit? But I don't know, they completely turn on Jose, but we'll get into that more later. The other thing that happens with CT is that there's this big switching, that's the power play of the week for the MVP. And the MVP can switch Devin, who's already been, no, not Devin, god damn it, Jose, who is bullied into LVP. The big twist is, the switch, So blue team gets to choose, I think, is it overall Booby's choice because he's MVP? I'm not really sure. They switch up Jose against Wes. They give him Devin against Wes instead. And even CT is like, you should have fucking, put me in there. Let Wes take a shot, fuckers. Like, you fucking, okay, I appreciate the fucking, I appreciate not being voted in or whatever, because, blue team, they want to make sure Wes comes back. So they gave him Devin. It was between Devin and CT, and, that's basically it. Like, Booby was the blue MVP, and he wants to make sure Wes stays around. He thinks that Wes should go into elimination, but it's not like he wants to lose him. And they're fucking buddies and shit. Like, he even says that. Anyways, but yeah, CT is spared. Next we have Wes. Oh my god, the real meat of the story immediately on the second try. Wes for the blue team. When it comes to the mission, his team wins. He couldn't score on CT. He tried plenty of times, but CT was pretty good. It was up to Wes's teammate Tony to do that. Wes does have a moment after winning. He loses basically his bid for MVP. It basically comes down to Booby and Tony because Tony made the winning shot, but Booby was a hell of a goalie. He prevented every single shot. So Wes talks to Booby and he's like, god damn it, like he's a fucking star. He's probably going to throw in a champ. Like, this is how it goes. So I think Wes wants to sway him. And he says, like, you are guaranteed to get to the end because I'm only going to go after Drake and someone. Who the fuck else is on there? Oh, Casper. And he's like, I virtually guaranteeing you to be in the end or whatever. And Booby's like, I don't, he keeps asking questions like, what do you mean? Like, how is that even possible? Like, how are you going to guarantee that and stuff like that? And what? He's like, I swear you could trust me on this or something like that. He's like, I swear on my mother, my fiance, my dog, my company. And I was like, fiance, Wes, I didn't know. Congratulations. But to swear at all that stuff, I'm like, well, maybe he is telling the truth. I mean, he can feed you a line of bullshit sometimes, but sometimes he is just like, listen, like, I am fucking serious, you know? It is a little different to see Wes squirm and do all this other stuff trying to avoid elimination, but it's fine, turns out. I don't know. We'll get to that part later. Okay. So eventually, Wes has a bunch of meetings with his team. Drake's there. Casper gets there later, but Tony's there. I think. What's her name? God damn it, Louise Hazel. But he does say, okay, so it seems like I'm going to be thrown in. Do I get a save? The blue team gets to save one teammate this season. The red team already used theirs. They saved Shane. So Wes does ask that, and in so many words, they say no. Because they're like, well, would you be asking this if it was the other way around or something like that? I don't know. Basically, he's getting called out, you know, like Drake throws in his 2 cents. It's like, listen, buddy, like you just hate that nothing's going your way, and like there's a difference between lying and negotiating or something like that. I don't know. Drake's been like kind of sitting back, just wearing his shades with his fucking hair and just like, hey man, I perform, and you know, I come off as like a somewhat nice guy. I'm an actor, people like me because I was a child actor or whatever. But now he's just kind of like being kind of shitty and calling out Wes. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch, but good for you. Yeah, because Wes is like, okay, so I'm basically going in, and he's like kind of, you know, he appears quite grumpy. And Drake is like, all right, well, blue on 3. And Wes is like, no. And he walks away. But I knew what Drake was doing. Like, you know, there's no way Wes was going to be like, yeah, let's do, you know, blue on 3. Okay, so next, when he does get LVP by Booby, that's actually kind of funny because Booby's like, okay, well, he's going in, but it's not because he's the least. In fact, he's still my guy. And Wes is like, oh, you just bat those eyes and I listen and do whatever it is that you tell me to, man, and shit. And Booby does like Wes. Like, they do get along and stuff like that. So he gets up there before the switch, because Wes assumes he's going to go against Jose. Miz is like, okay, well, you're going in, Wes. How do you do in eliminations usually? And Wes goes, I've sent home more people in the history of the show. And, you know, to a casual viewer, they might be like, oh my God, will you shut the fuck up, Wes? You're talking about fucking companies and fiancés and dogs and mothers. Like, we get it. You have everything. But this is actually true. He actually holds the record. His record is officially, in terms of the actual seasons, like not these miniseries, Champs versus Stars, Champs versus Pros things. The regular seasons, he holds a 13-6 record. 13 wins, 6 losses. But if you count the miniseries, which I think you should, he's actually 17-6. 17 wins, 6 losses. I mean, he's undefeated so far in these miniseries, Champs versus Stars, Champs versus Pros, whatever. Okay, so he's going in. He has to go against Devin. They're fucking friends. This is a master and an apprentice, basically. I mean, you know, friends is one thing. It's almost like, I want to say Bananas and Tony sort of a relationship, you know? Devin could be like, I'm your confidant or whatever. Or what did Tony say? I don't remember. Either way, let's get into the elimination, which is called Poppin' Goddamn Tags. It's great. I like these newer missions where they kind of incorporate wrestling, you know? You wear this vest, and on the back of the vest are like these tags. I want to say that there's about 5 tags maybe, but they're on your back. And I think you and your opponent are tethered together. And yeah, you just have to do whatever it takes to try and pop their tag before they pop yours. And it's a best of 5 elimination. The first round, Wes actually loses. What Devin does is that he actually kind of drops. He like once, because they're always like hanging on to each other, they're trying to fight for like wrist control. Yeah. But what Devin does, he actually kind of pulls guard, if you will, if you're into MMA, UFC stuff. And then he kind of puts his feet into Wes's like groin area near the hips and pushes upwards, causing Wes to flip over. And in mid flip, Devin grabs Wes's tag before Wes falls to the floor. It's an amazing performance. Okay, so the second round, this is where Wes pulls this crazy fucking leap, twist, mid-air anaconda-like twist, and just is able to just completely circle around his opponent Devin and grab that tag. It was a wonder to behold. It was pretty sweet. Round 3, it's actually an instant replay. Like, these guys seemed to like fractions of a second from each other of pulling each other's tags, but it was Wes that got it. So we go into the 4th round. What happens is Devin gets it, but this was great because Wes is coming at Devin, and Devin, instead of just kind of like hanging there in the middle with him, he actually shoots backwards as far as he can. So Wes is left grabbing at nothing, and then Devin charges forward. Wes then hits to the ground, like he puts his back on the ground just to kind of cover himself because he realizes he's been exposed. And so Devin is on top, and he's still able to get one of the side tags or whatever. But it was a brilliant move to kind of cause Wes to have to pull guard like that. Again, just these brilliant moves by Devin. And so far it seems like Wes is just more pure quickness and strength, where Devin is like creating these openings and stuff like that, and using the momentum of his body and all this other shit. Like it's such a exquisite elimination. So we get into round 5, and this is basically, I want to say, takedown defense. Devin kind of shoots down for Wes. Wes kind of catches him and pushes him downwards. So then he has a clear shot for Devin's back, and he ends up winning the elimination. Great for Wes. I feel like this episode is done, but we're going to go through every player. Next, we have Brooke from the red team. She lost, her team lost the mission. But you know what, though? I don't think she was benched. I think she played like every fucking round or whatever you call it, inning. Oh, God, hockey fans are like, fuck you, man. But they do bench people. And I don't remember. I think Ashley Mitchell's benched. I don't know. There's a lot of women that are in rotation being benched. Like Tori's benched. But I don't think Brooke is ever benched. That's awesome. Brooke goes salsa dancing in the beginning of the episode and is hit on by Tony. But, who isn't hit on by Tony? You know what I'm saying? Next, we have Shane. He was for the red team. He lost the mission. Well, he didn't lose the mission. His team lost. But actually, he wants to make it clear during this particular mission to make Jose look awful. Because this is when he's yelling and screaming, just pure anger coming out of Shane at just what Jose is doing or not doing. He keeps on saying, like, use your feet! For fuck's sake, like, Jesus Christ! Like, he's just his face is red. He's just, I don't know. This was very fucking weird. And very uncomfortable, Shane used to be pretty sweet, but now he's just been so shitty lately. He's fully aware of it. He's turned heel. I've said this before. Like, before he used to be a good guy, and he would want to be perceived as such. But now he's just like, well, that's not what people want to see now. People want to see fucking hate and bitchiness and, like, just disrespect, and like that's what people want to see. He's thinking, so he's really putting on that. He's really doing the role well. I certainly don't like him. I don't know, he just yells at Jose way too much, and I'm just like, dude, just relax a little bit. But that's all I have to say about Shane. Next we have Drake for the blue team. His team wins. I guess his only other moment was just like calling out Wes for just his bullshit. He's just like, hey, man, you're, lying isn't negotiating and stuff like that. And he's just saying, like, relax, bro. And he does the, like, do we do Team Blue on 3, huh? And Wes is like, no. And he walks away. And Drake is just like, yeah, man, fucking making Wes look like a bitch. But no, not really. Not even a bitch. But just like what Drake wants to point out is the hypocrisy of the champs, where they're just like, we're playing this dirty game, but as soon as anything happens to us, we throw these huge tantrums, which is fucking true. Yeah. Next, we have Casper for the blue team. His team wins the mission. And I think thankfully for Casper's management, because he doesn't allow Ashley anywhere near the goal. I mean, for fuck's sake, like the whole time Ashley's like, I'm gonna fucking throw it, y'all. Yeah, we're a team. Not. And shit like that. So Casper's like, get the fuck away from the goal, our goal. Like you're gonna fucking try and score on us, for the other team and shit like that. So, and I think they bench Ashley for the majority of the mission and stuff like that, and that's really just Casper just taking a stand, which he should, which is a smart move. Next we have Booby for the blue team. His mission, he wins the mission. Well, he doesn't win the mission, but actually he does such a good job at defending, being goalie, he gets the MVP. Wes tries to bargain with him. That's where he swears, he's like, I got a mother and a fiance and a dog and a company and stuff like that. And, Booby is listening to this stuff, but he's just not being swayed on why Wes shouldn't be put in. It just kind of makes sense, because Tony already went in, and it's just Wes now as the champ guys. So it only makes sense, and it's nothing personal. Like, Booby makes that clear when he sends him in for LVP. But I do remember when Booby tells Wes, like, I've seen you play, you wouldn't do this or that or whatever. And he's like, oh, God, what was it? It's like something about it's a straight game or something like that. And Wes is like, no, it's not a straight game. If it was straight, I wouldn't do it. But yeah, when Booby does vote in Wes for LVP, he does say that thing. He's like, listen, I want to make it clear he's not the least valuable player. He just has to go in because that's the politics of the game, and he's still my guy. He still does like Wes. So when the twist came, when he could switch it with anyone, Booby did think, like, I just can't risk Wes losing to CT. So put him against Devin. On to Devin for the red team. His team loses the mission. But I do remember a fake fight he gets in with Wes, goon style. That was kind of fun because, they're buddies, come on. I do remember earlier in the episode, Jose tries to seduce Devin to the dark side. Now he just tries to say, like, hey Devin, let's get in this hot tub, let's have some alcohol, let's fucking talk about saving me, basically. And Devin is like, well, I just can't, like, I really couldn't do that. There's no way that's gonna work. But Jose really wants to say, like, Devin, like, we have to work together. Like, I'm reaching out to you because I feel like between the rest of the team, it's you and me and shit. But the funny thing is that as soon as they lose that mission and Jose's up for LVP talk, they're already bringing up his name because, like, fucking Shane was like, Jose, you fucking bitch, move your fucking legs and use your feet or whatever. Jose is clearly going in. Then that's when Jose is just like, put in Devin instead. Devin was doing some shit, right, guys? Right? And it sucks because that was like, dude, you were just trying to make friends with me earlier in the hot tub. Did that mean nothing? We got all wrinkled and shit. That's the other thing. Jose and him are fucking linked this episode because Jose is voted in for LVP, but the twist for the power play is that there's a switch. Booby can change Jose for any other male person on the red team and puts in Devin. So Devin is replacing Jose. And now, what happens? Oh, we're just discuss the elimination once again. Devin, he wins that first round, and with that beautiful technique of just dropping guard and using a butterfly lift. I don't know, but he flips Wes and grabs that tag. Like, that shit was amazing. That was so impressive. And it does suck. I mean, I already mentioned that Devin is eliminated, but it does suck that he's gone because I just feel like he's like a contender. He's been to a final before. He has performed well and better during the missions lately. And just seeing how he moves and operates in elimination recently is also very impressive. Like, I just feel like he's improving himself because he truly does want to be champion one day. All right, anyways, he wins that first round, but he loses the second round when Wes leaps over him in that crazy fucking leap. And then he also loses due to instant replay. Like, they were just so close to each other. He loses the third round to Wes again. But then he comes back in the fucking fourth, and that's when he pulled himself backwards. That Wes was left open, reaching for nothing, and then he charges Wes. Wes drops to his back to defend his back, but Devin's just able to like mount Wes, and in doing so, controlling where Wes's body was going, and he was able to grab the tag. That was so fucking great, innovative and shit. Thinking on your toes, Devin. But in the fifth round, he's just straight up like kind of pulled down, so where Wes is able to hold him down, his head, facing the ground, he just rips the tag off and shit. But great effort. I'm glad Devin is back for the next season, Final Reckoning. All right, next we have Tony from the blue team. For the mission, he actually wins. He is the reason why they win. They were tied up forever through, like most hockey. Hockey is... No, I was going to compare it to soccer, but no, soccer, it goes forever without any fucking points and shit. But Tony actually gets that winning back slap against CT of all people. Like, that was so fucking impressive. And he really should have got MVP, but they are outnumbered, the champs versus the Stars. So he loses MVP to Booby. I do remember in a last-ditch effort meeting, it was Wes and Tony talking with Drake and Booby, and basically saying, like, you know what? This is the time to make a move. Casper. But it just doesn't make any sense. Like, they didn't explain it to me or to the audience why that would make sense. So it just doesn't happen. Before this, Tony goes salsa dancing and like flirts with Brooke and like Lil Mama and anyone really. Like, salsa dancing. I did it one time. It was kind of fun. But Tony's like, hey man, I'm a changed man. I'm married now. Or no, wait, he's not married. He's just with a woman and he's got like 2 kids and shit like that. But I do remember he talks diamonds with Lil Mama and Salida. No, they ask him, he's like, so what does she want? Like, carrots wise or whatever. And Tony's like, at least 1. And Salida's like, 3 is my minimum. And fucking Lil Mama's like, 4 is my minimum. Like, I need 4 carrots on a diamond at the very least. So Tony's like, wow, shit. Thank God I'm not with you and, you two. Although that could be possible, right? I think Lil Mama and Salida would go in on that, right? I don't know. Next, we have Louise for the blue team. Her team wins. She didn't have too much in this episode. I mean, we all know that she's in control, but she didn't have too many scenes necessarily. It was mostly a lot of more talks between Wes and the blue team, the men of the blue team. And I think that's because she ghosted Wes. Like, Wes is like, yeah, she doesn't talk to me anymore. Like, we don't talk game or anything like that. She's just like, goodbye, I'm doing my own thing here. So thus, she doesn't have a lot of scenes in this episode, which is a very heavy Wes episode. All I remember her actually saying is like, we should have put CT in against Wes, but the boys are being scaredy cats and shit like that. Pussies. Salida from the red team, she loses the mission, her team loses the mission, goddammit. She talks diamonds with Tony and Lil Mama. Her minimum diamond requirement is 3 carats. Lil Mama for the red team. Her team loses the mission. She goes salsa dancing with Tony, probably open to a whatever with Tony, and maybe not. Yeah, it's just fucking dancing, right? She talks diamonds. Her minimum requirement is 4 carat diamond. Oh, what do we have here? Ashley Mitchell, who's on the blue team. She was formerly on the red team, but she does get a mission win with this blue team, thanks to Tony. At the very beginning of the episode, she was mad still, and she was like, I'm so fucking hated and shit. And God, she was crying. She was mentioning her dead father. I'm like, whoa, what does that have to do with anything right now? Like, it was crazy. It caught me off guard. That's when Drake is like, oh my God, these champions are just fucking so dramatic because things aren't going their way. And at the very beginning, going into the mission, Ashley was just saying, like, I'm going to throw everything, you piece of shit. So Casper was like, well, fuck you then. Like, we're going to put you in a corner somewhere, and then you're going to be benched. Yeah. So, I don't know. Ashley Mitchell didn't really do anything this episode. Just the threat of doing something. And that's all for Ashley Mitchell. Next, we have Kayla for the red team. Her team loses the mission. And you know what? I have nothing written down for Kayla. I think she hugs Ashley Mitchell. And then I think Jose is saying, like, I think I did a good job playing this game because I'm still here, right? And Kayla's like, well, you're in elimination right now, so I just wanted you to know that. So, but like, really, Kayla is just a fucking waste of space. Like, I understand how she got here because now the bar is so low that they're just like, well, okay, not champs versus stars. It could be finalists versus stars. It's even lower now, you know? Like, Shane never got to a final, but still. Kayla's done nothing this season. I can't remember a single thing that she's done. And I think she's back for fucking Final Reckoning. Yeah. Ugh. Anyways, finally we have Jose for the red team. His team loses. In fact, he's blamed for that loss. Tony backslapped past Jose and past CT. But god damn it, there's so much hatred hurled upon this poor guy by Shane. And Shane is just, it was a real turning point where I'm like, fuck you, Shane. Just fucking relax. Learn to turn it off sometimes. But that doesn't mean that I like Jose at all. You know, like he tries to sway Devin in the hot tub, and then that's the same guy he tries to throw under the bus as soon as he can for LVP instead, and then he gets put into LVP. Some could say that the red team just kind of bullied him into it. Like, what? Who else would it be? Get the fuck up there. Get up there. You're like, holy fuck. But then the twist comes, the power play. Booby can now switch him for anyone on the red team. He gets switched up with Devin, the same guy that he wanted to go in the LVP in the first place. And now he lives on to fight another day. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud. Like, subscribe, comment.